Hello and welcome to Access Paranormal, and it's my usual self, Jamie and Jonathan.
Hello.
And we've also got Jim over in New York. Jim, what's your full name? Because I've forgot it already.
Jim Sandoval.
Sandoval, that's it.
That's it.
I do this every single show, Jim, so don't worry about it. Jim, we've got you on because you sent us a message telling us that you've got this story that you want to share. And so we got all the we've got some photographs you've sent us. Obviously, for the radio, if you want to go and look at these photographs, they will be on our Facebook page. They'll also be on the podcast when it goes out on YouTube.
Yeah.
So, Jim, if you want to carry on and tell us your story, that would be fantastic. Before we start that, though, Jim's over in New York.
He is, yeah.
I know.
Is it Buffalo, New York?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's got the memory.
He got the good memory.
I've got it there.
He hasn't got it anywhere else. So, so Jim, tell us this story that you've been wanting to tell us, and we said it's a must. Yeah.
All right, so let's start from the beginning. So this was around 2009, 2010. I was around in my mid-20s. I met a girl online on a social media site for like people who were into heavy metal music, and we set up a date. We went on a band called Guar. I'm not sure if you heard of Guar before, but we went to go see Guar. Hit it off really good, and then we were dating for a few months. She moved in, and after a lot of weird things happened. An example was right around I guess February, which is right before we went to the New Orleans trip. We were at the house, and she planted some seeds for some flowers in the backyard because for spring and whatever. And in Texas, the weather, you can pretty much plant stuff at any time. So she was watering it, and then she sprayed me with the water hose. And so you have the house, you're in the back over here, and then you have the long side. So she ran around the corner to the long side, and there was like leaves all the way around, and you could hear the sound of crunching. You know what I mean? And as soon as she went around the corner, she disappeared. There was no more crunching sound. And as soon as I ran around the corner, I should have been able to see her. Yeah. She was completely gone. So, and the way the house was, the very front of it had two doors. It had a screen door and a regular door. The porch was warped, so you had to lift up the screen door, and it was a whole ordeal to get inside. You lift the screen door, go in the door, lift it up, and close the door. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna catch her at the door because there's no way she's that fast where she's gonna run all the way around and go through all that, especially when I'm only about like 6 feet behind her. So as soon as I turned the corner around her, I was surprised because it's like, at least 15, 20 feet to the side of the house, I guess, roughly. I didn't measure it, but it's longer than 6 feet. So I go in the house, I open the door and everything, and she's in the back of the house drying a wine glass. And I'm all huffing and puffing. She's cool as a cucumber. And I said, how'd you get here? And she's all, what took you so long? So that was one weird thing that happened. I was kind of like, okay, something's a little weird here.
Yeah.
So, because I when she said I'm in a witchcraft or whatever, I thought it was more like, it was more like an outlet. Like, oh, okay, it's just something she does as an outlet, like someone does yoga or someone does, art or whatever. It's just an outlet that she was using to decompress, or, people do different things, video games, some people do sports, some people like, everybody has their own outlet. So I was just like, whatever. I wanted to be a supportive, boyfriend. Well, anyway, she just started getting me into like, I guess you would say candle magic, where you like write stuff on the candles and oil and all that kind of stuff. She got me into all that. And I was kind of going through the emotions, and I was just kind of, I kind of like in it, I was trying, but I didn't really, at the time, it was just really not, I was just doing it for her basically at the time. And then she took me, she took me to New Orleans. She rented a hotel. This was after Katrina, so it was right off Bourbon Street, so everything was just like rebuilt. Yeah. So everything was like freshly wallpapered and freshly painted and everything. And there was this one hotel that was allegedly haunted, which I'm pretty sure it was. But we were there for 3 nights, and On the third night, we got these drinks called the Yellow Hand Grenade. It's like some bar that has them. It's like a special drink. It's Everclear, so it's insane. It's one of those dog bone drinks. Got completely wasted. We went back to the hotel. When she got on top of me, and I blacked out. And then I woke up fine the next morning. We went down to the car, and as soon as I got in her car, I just got violently sick. Was throwing up all the way back to Texas, and she drove all the way. And then 3 days later, the big black mark was on my back.
Yeah.
And it was started itching and burning, and it was just the really weird sensation, like something was crawling under my skin. And I turned around in the mirror and I just freaked out. And I said, "Hey, what did you do to me?" And she's all, "I like to mark my property." And then she just gave me this Cheshire cat grin. And I'm like, "You see, you're not serious, are you?" And she just smiled at me. And then, so I just, I thought she was just messing with me. You know what I mean? It's like, I must, I was still in that science mind. Like, I probably got something from the sheets at the hotel. I probably laid on something. I probably got to go to the doctor. I probably got some kind of rash or something weird, whatever. I'm not sure if you can show up the pictures right now, or.
Yeah, what we'll do is while you're talking, the pictures will go up somewhere here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
all right. So
we'll be able to see them.
So then, so the mark was on my back, and she just that. What did I leave off at? Sorry, I kind of got sidetracked there.
It's okay.
So I imagine that would have freaked you out a bit.
Pardon?
I imagine that would have freaked you out quite a bit. Because
What do you
it's
mean?
a mark. That's quite a mark on your back.
Yes, I went to a dermatologist in Texas and a dermatologist in New York. Both did a biopsy, and you can see in the images there, you can see where they took the puncture wounds.
Yeah.
Both came out negative. I had MRIs, several doctors. I've been to pain management doctors, physical therapists, massage therapists, MRIs, blood work. They gave me all kinds of different creams, fungus creams, steroid creams, a bunch of other just ointments to try, and none of them worked. And it was unchanged from 2010 around February. It was around Mardi Gras too, which is funny, which is Lent season, which is a season of conversion, I was told. So anyway, so around 2015, it goes unchanged. And then I really started studying exorcisms, demonology, and like spiritual stuff. Really, just like, because I was like, okay, I went the doctor route, nothing's working.
Yeah.
I went to a priest. The priest told me to go see a therapist. I went to see a therapist. She told me to go see a priest. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm on my own on this. So I started studying demonology. I went to a bunch of demonology groups on Facebook. Started asking questions, posting my story on Facebook and social media to see if I can see what was going on. Most people weren't taking it too seriously. Some people were. They were just freaked out by it. One guy private messages me, and he says, "Hey, I don't really believe you, but you're asking questions, and I feel like I need to just at least tell you what it is in case you're not just pulling my leg."
Yeah.
He's on from Sri Lanka, and in my culture, the demon, the Mahasona, kills people by striking them on the back, and no one is ever found alive with this mark. You're the first person to ever be walking around with that mark.
Oh wow.
And he says and that's why I don't believe you. And I said, well, I am, and I have it. And I said, well, I am Christian. Maybe that has something to do with it. Because they're from what I was a lot of exorcisms and across the world, I've noticed there's very few that actually exorcise demons. Most of the time, they actually barter, and they kind of like placate the spirit. So they appease it, and like they do dancing, or they get it drunk, or they do something, or they do animal sacrifice to appease this entity so it goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what most other types of exorcisms, I guess you would say. But other than Christian, they kind of like really like with authority push it out. So so yeah, he told me, I showed him the pictures and everything. He gave me a bunch of information, actually helped out a lot. So if you read the Mahasona, I sent you the screenshot there. If you want to read that last paragraph there for me.
I'll just find it. Is it the writing what you sent?
Pardon?
The writing
It
you
should,
sent me, yeah.
yeah, it's going to be a bunch of writing. It'll say exorcism on the bottom, and it'll be the last paragraph above that.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
got
that
it.
one. Yeah.
The Mahasona kills people at night by striking them between the shoulders. The mark of a hand will be embossed on the flesh of the body after this. Apart from killing, he is also able to possess humans.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So you can see the mark on my back there. Also, when I started doing the spiritual cleanses, you can see where it started to turn. You can see the picture where I had the sequence of where it started to lighten up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one.
Yep.
Is that the one with the light? But it's got like a
dark outline.
The only way you
dark
can
outline. So hold on. So this is the funny part. So there's going to be a standalone image of the middle frame on the right side. There should be a bigger picture, so that way you can see more detail.
Okay, so the one we've got of you is the one where it's like dark, and then there's 3 different photographs of different.
Yep, that's the main one. Now, I sent you a standalone image also that is the panel on the second, in the middle one on the right. So you see the one that has 3. There's one in the middle that I sent you another one that's just an individual, and I want you to look at that one so you can get more detail of it. Now, so here's the ink blot test, or what's it called, the Rorschach test, Rorschach test, or so Rorschach. Anyway, so what does it look like to you? What pattern does your mind see on that specific panel?
Look at it. Now, just for the listeners, if you go to the podcast, this is on the radio, but if you go to the podcast or on our channel, Access Paranormal, on Facebook, the page, you should see these pictures as well, so they'll all be up there. And what I'm looking at is it's like shades on the outside and light on the inside, but I'm trying to see if there's any kind of shape to it or any kind of
sort of shape to it, isn't there?
It looks like a head or like a, but that's pareidolia. Then you see when you start looking at it.
It's definitely not round. It's definitely got it's got a definite shape to it.
Yep. I'll give
marks.
you a hint. A lot of people say it looks like a specific animal. Let's see if
A pig.
Pig, or there's another one. It's very when I tell you what it looks like, you're going to see it right away. Maybe
Looks like
it's actually a football team also. It looks like the buffalo.
And you're from Buffalo?
I'm not from Buffalo, but that's where I'm at.
Well, you're at Buffalo, yeah. I got you now. Yeah, I can see it now. You've said it.
So now, if you go online and look up the Buffalo Bills logo, it looks almost identical.
Well, what I'll do is I'll find the Buffalo Bills logo and put it next to it.
Yeah. Yep. See if that helps. So, and also, if you that exorcism page, if you read up a couple of lines, it'll say drinks blood of a.
Oh, drinks blood of it. Let me have a look. I'm still looking for it. There's the writing there. Drinks the blood of a buffalo.
Oh my God!
It says 100. Can I just read the paragraph? 122 foot tall demon.
Hold on. Quick question. Yep. So I'm going to interject real quick. So the way the demon appears is subject to culture and what they're used to seeing. So it almost looks like Shiva, that specific demon that they're talking about there. But the one I saw was completely different.
Right.
It was about 9 foot, but not 120.
He has the head of a bear or tiger and rides a pig. And drinks the blood of a buffalo.
Yeah, he carries in his right hand. He's also armed with a pike in his left hand. All I'm thinking of a pike is a fish.
A pike, yeah, it's a spear. So it's similar to like I guess Shiva, the destroyer.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So and in Sri Lanka, which would make sense because that's I think Hindi.
Right, yeah.
Yep.
Mm,
Oh, that's
So
strange.
yeah.
so the Mahasona, if you do a quick Google search of it, the Mahasona, you see the different images of it. It'll look like kind of a bear. The one I saw, it looked like a black dragon, basically, is what I saw. And if you
Yeah.
look at the handprint, it looks like a dragon handprint, in my opinion. If you look up the paw prints of a Komodo dragon, it actually, the outline is pretty similar to it.
Right. Okay.
Right, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the Komodo dragon is the only known dragon to exist that we know of. So
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how did this? I mean, you said that was 2015.
2010, and yeah, 2010, and it was remained unchanged for till 2015. And then when I started I started reading the Bible a lot. So there's this one, excuse me, there's this one, I think in Psalms where King Solomon says, "Wash me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. I should be whiter than snow." So I basically made a tea mixture of hyssop and some other stuff, and then traditionally, so if you don't have a bath, a lot of what they call hoodoo practitioners, they would get it and they would just dump it over their body and let it air dry. So after usually you do it in an odd number, 3, 5, 7, and then I started getting results. It started to turn red, and I was just like, wow. You know what I mean? And then later, you can see where it started changing shapes, where you see there's a triangle there with looks like a little eye where the biopsy was taken.
In the triangle.
And see, that picture is actually taken by my massage therapist because she was working on my back, and she's all, "Hey, your back's changing shapes. This mark is doing some weird stuff. I've never seen this before."
Yeah.
She's on nothing I've ever seen has done or just changes like this. This is not a bruise. It's just weird. And then it started to change into a hexagram, as you can see in the other panel that I gave you there as well.
Yeah, that's that one there, isn't it, with the necklace next to it?
No, with the necklace, I can't see it. I know in one necklace it's almost like gone, but that one might have it.
So I seen the triangle and
In this one.
no, in the other one. One where the necklace was.
Sorry for those listening on the radio. We are actually looking at the photographs. Like I said, if you go onto our Access Paranormal page on Facebook, or wait until this video comes out, which shouldn't be too long now, and you'll be able to go onto Access Paranormal podcast, and it'll be on there for you to view the images on there as well.
So you like I can see a triangle in that.
We've got the one with the triangle in it now, Jim.
Yeah, the one with the triangle. What about the one with the hexagram?
Oh, I've got to go back the other way. You got me working tonight. Is that one there? Is that it?
That could be it, couldn't it?
Whoa, my cat knocked over the table.
How did you get a cat? Is that it?
Oh, that's a definite track.
That's
Here he is right here.
Hey, hello, cat.
Hello.
Its eyes look weird then as well, Jim, on the camera then.
Pardon?
Keep going that way.
This way.
That's
What we're doing
that's
is-
a definite
yeah.
triangle.
As said to the people listening on the radio, we're just having a look on the photographs now. We can
So
see
is it
the
the
shapes
next
have
one?
changed.
That one.
That one there. Yeah, you've got it.
Got it, yeah.
You've got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can see it, can't you, on that one?
It's very defined as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very
Pardon?
it's very defined. The
Yes.
triangle and the
Hexagram.
Hexagram.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can clearly see them.
Yeah.
Very clearly.
And there's one with those scratches on it. I'm guessing that was you.
Yeah, it's when I told you it feels like something was crawling underneath my skin. And it was also interesting as well because it would act like an evil spirit detector. So if like someone that had something on them that wasn't so good, it would kind of like
It's like start itching and
start to move and feel weird and itch, and like it'll be like oh, that person's bad. You can just tell, when you meet people not all. I mean, not some people are just bad, but they don't have that energy. But they can come into a room and it just gets real heavy,
Yeah.
and it like sucks all the joy and the air out, and it's like you can't
Yeah.
breathe.
Mm.
Can I ask you, when you found all this out, did you ever go back to your ex-girlfriend and ask her to do anything to clear it, or
Okay, hold on.
would that have been
Oh,
too brave?
sorry. My cat is rubbing on the table because he wants to be fed right now, and he's being really annoying right now. Baby, behave. He's gonna attack. He's about to attack me. All right, so where was I at? He's distracting me.
Well,
So okay. Why didn't I ask her? Okay. Well, we haven't talked about how we broke up.
if you wish to share,
Well, it's I would say it's one of the most epic breakups of epic break. I don't know what to do with my cat. Like he's gonna be knocking the table over like right now. So I might have to. I might have to just take 5 seconds if that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fine.
go-
Yeah.
All right. All right. So if
Yeah,
you want to talk amongst yourselves real quick and discuss the
Yeah,
photos and stuff,
yeah.
I'll be right back.
while you're doing that, we'll
Yeah.
put the pictures up for the people to look
Yeah.
at,
Yeah. We can do. Yeah.
because I mean, it's incredible when you're looking at them photographs, Jonathan.
It's a
It's
fascinating.
it's the actual markings, and I keep saying, go to Access Paranormal's
Well,
page.
what did I say though, Jamie? Well, I said it looked like a pig.
Yeah,
Now we hadn't read that writing,
no, we hadn't. No,
and it said it had a buffalo,
you can see the buffalo now. Now Jim said it.
right? But it said it rides a
Mhm.
pig.
Yeah, so there's the two of them there.
It's strange, isn't it?
Yeah, but when you look
Now
at
the triangle and the hex.
yeah, you've got the
they're the
triangle
other way,
hexagon.
aren't they?
Yeah, these will go up on. We'll
Yeah.
put triangle hexagon on
So
the right, and
that's
you're
a
right on them.
hexagon.
That's the hexagon there. You can see the shape,
Yeah.
and then on that one there is a triangle. So you got the
It's
triangle, and you got the
strange,
shape. Yeah, yeah. So
Okay, I'm back.
pictures will be up anyway, and we'll write on them which ones they are.
Yeah.
You're back, Jim.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
We had a little bit of a break there for cat food.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was not gonna stop.
Listen,
Fair enough.
I've got
He
a
was about to
dog.
draw some. He was about to draw some blood.
Well, I've got a dog, so I know how it feels. When they want feeding, you got to feed them.
Oh,
no
God,
choice.
Yeah.
So you were saying about this is going to be interesting. Is it about his ex-girlfriend?
The epic breakup.
Yeah. Oh, your picture's gone. Oh, no, you're on your side
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. So someone tried to call me.
Right. No worries.
So
No worries.
I hope they don't try again. All right. So the breakup. So okay, it was really interesting because my family on my mom's side comes from like healers. They're healers and witches. My dad's side is more like military and very religious Catholics. So like completely
Nearly
opposites.
Mirrors of each other, yeah.
So on my mom's side, my grandfather was like, because in Hispanic families they have like the family healer, and they would do things like rub the egg over your body and say prayers, and they would do a lot of stuff with holy water and a bunch of other like I guess you would say folk magic type stuff. People would classify that. Some people call it folk Catholicism, and kind of in that kind of premise. So so I guess I kind of had like the bloodline on that side where a lot of people say if you have witches, they can have generational curses and stuff like that as well. My mom wasn't really into it, but you know, my grandmother kind of was, the sisters were, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that kind of opens doorways to some of this stuff I was told. But I got sidetracked for a second. Let's take a couple of steps back. Where were we just?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
What
fine.
were we just saying? I kind
About your breakup.
Pardon?
About how you broke up. Because you said it was
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So like I said, she was teaching me to do certain things, and I don't know exactly why. I didn't know if it was to like try to turn me to learn the bad stuff, the dark arts, or to like try to help her do whatever with this, what happened. What I'm about to tell you. Because I was learning because after the weird stuff happened with her disappearing from the backyard to the inside of the house,
Yeah.
The mark on my back. There was another instance too. I'm trying to remember. But there was just a bunch of weird like synchronicities and weird little like coincidences that were happening that were just so weird. I can't think of those. But anyway, I had enough. Enough was enough. So I went to, like I said, I went to the priest. They wouldn't help me. They said, go see a therapist. So I went to start studying the exorcism rites. So I got like every herb you can think of that was associated with exorcism. I did the exorcism while she was at work, and I was actually had a debate with another exorcist that said, you can't do a remote exorcism. But this was after the fact. This is before I had any help, and I didn't want her there, so she was at work, and I started to do the exorcism rites ritual. Had all these candles, burned all the incense, said all the prayers, and I think I fasted for a couple of days, and then she texted me when I started the ritual. She texted me, "I don't feel so good," and I thought that was really interesting. And so
Nice.
then, so I finished the whole thing, went through all the rites, which is takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours long.
Hmm.
And normally you're supposed to have another person there with you, but
Mm.
it was, I had no one else there, so it was just me. Did it all. And she normally got out of work at 5. She got out of work around 3. Came to the house. Her hair was all in disarray, eyes bloodshot, and she's all, "What are you doing?" And because she was pointing at the altar, and she was so I was in the door. Say, this is the doorway right here. She was in front of me to the left, and the altar and all the stuff was to the right, and there was smoke and incense smoke inside the room because I just got through with it basically, but I had a couple more hours to have everything clear out. And she said, "What are you doing?" And I said, praying to God." And that when I said that, that's when things started to get really weird. There was a light behind me right here. It started to dim. All the candles started to dim. The incense smoke that was in there started to go around her, and then an apparition formed. And I sent you all a picture of what it looked like. And it was really interesting. It looked like a hologram, and it moved like stop motion.
Oh yeah.
So that's what it looked like. And it was like, it had wings, but it did like try to intimidate by expanding it, but it was like in a sphere. It was like in a window, like kind of like we are right now. Like if I put my hands out like that, it's cut off. It was like that, but in like a sphere of smoke, and it was really, really bizarre. And it had like tar black skin, yellow eyes, a reptilian like a snout, not like a real long one, but just like a short snout. Had the nodules like what people say the lizard man, classic bat wings. And when it spoke, it wouldn't move its lips. You could hear it directly into your mind. So, and it sat there, arms crossed, and it said, "What God?" And then we started. It was like a conversation under a minute, and basically, it started telling me that there was a God and a creator, and that there was a God and there was a God and there was a creator. And then I said, that doesn't make any sense. Well, first I asked it why it put the mark on my back, and it said to teach me a lesson.
Oh.
So when it was a girl, it said mark my property, but when this thing it said to teach me a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And I've yet to learn what that lesson was. I've learned a lot of lessons, but I guess it goes anyway. So then when I started talking about there's a God and a creator, and I said that doesn't make any logical sense. I said, if the creator created the God, then the creator is the actual God. The other one is a co-creator. And then I said, doesn't make any logical sense. And it got angry. I saw the anger in his face. It just rushed at me. And it was there like less than a second. It's like, she glided. And it was like the whole apparition came at me. And as soon as it made contact, it disappeared. It was her choking me. And I just sat there and I said, get your stuff and get out. And that's how we broke. And then she started packing up and left.
Wow.
So there's no way you're gonna ask her to
Well, yeah, because you gotta understand. Because you gotta understand. After this happened, I'm like, her sister came by, and I'm like, and I sounded like a madman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, I'm like, your sister just and then like she was just laughing. Oh, he's crazy. And I'm like, oh my, I cannot believe this is happening right now. I was like, cannot believe this is. I'm like, no, I've seen this happen in shows. I cannot believe this is happening to me right now.
It's a strange world.
I was like, okay, so yeah, it was, yeah.
I'm just looking at your pictures now, Jim, and there's one. It's like, it looks like silver, if you get what I mean. It looks like silver, but it also looks like the Green Goblin, but in silver, if you get what I mean. You can see the eyes, the mouth, the nose. I don't know how I can explain which way it is. I don't know whether you know which one I'm talking about.
Which one?
It looks like an ultrasound.
Oh, okay. So that's the A cleanse. Okay, so this is something else. This is what I was telling you about. One of the methods I use to cleanse myself. The spiritual bath is a high stop. There's a one with the garlic, lemon, and egg. And the egg you rub all over your body, like I was saying. And you crack it in. You make the water holy or blessed water, watcher, and then you put a toothpick above it like a cross to seal it. And then you can do a reading to see what steps you need to take to, like, if you have like bubbles, it's like a blockage, so you have to do a roadblock remover. If you have like a entity or like a serpent or a dragon, that's usually like magic. Someone's doing magic on you, especially nowadays with TikTok. There's a lot of people doing witchcraft and magic these days, so it's quite prevalent now. So, and then you have different, like if a stream goes from the bottom all the way to the top to the yoke, that means you've been actually feeling a lot of negative energy, and there's a bunch of different indications on there. I'm actually writing a book on it. I wrote the last chapter. I just got to get the images lined up with the meanings, and then it'll be done. I'm trying to have the book done by December, hopefully before then.
You'll have to come back on and talk about that one, Jim.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
And I got some other stories too besides this one. I have some other recent things that happened. You ever heard about the twin flame journey thing?
No, not it. Have you?
So there's a thing called the twin flame. It's like, what it basically is a narcissistic empath relationship. And narcissists are, in a lot of beliefs and groups, think that it is like a demon incarnate in flesh, like someone who's completely taken over and possessed, because they do some really wild stuff. And so the twin flame thing is like the theory is that it's your other, like, how Adam and Eve were separated. The theory is that, you have the feminine and the masculine that were separated, and you're forever trying to find your other half. And then when you find your other half, you'll get like psychic abilities. You'll be like an unstoppable force. You'll have like all these, like, it's like an awakening or a real. So if you've been awakened, it's like a reawakening. And then because when I met this individual, like my tarot card reading, a bunch of like things started to really like sharpen and enhance. It was really it was an unusual experience. But according to a lot of research that I've done, and after going through the whole process, it's like basically just someone who's possessed, and it's one of the either Samael or Lilith, one of the succubus or succubi, and they attach themselves to people who are already on a. That's why the narcissist goes after an empath, because empath is usually more of a spiritual, psychic type person. And then they attach themselves to that to feed off that psychic energy. And they do, and so if you do some research on it, that's my theory on it. But there's two different sides that people look at it. And it's very interesting. We'll talk about, I guess, on the next one, but that's just
Yeah,
just a
definitely.
little bit about it.
Yeah, it'd be good.
So the marking on your back now, you still got it now.
Yes, it's about so you see where it had the triangle? The triangle's gone and it's about 50% lighter, and there's some parts that are like completely like, the circle, there's some of it like broken through.
Yeah.
Right.
So do you
So
think it's actually starting to fade now?
yes, and I'm continuing doing spiritual baths, not daily, but regularly. I'm doing all these other cleanses, burning protection candles and cleansing candles. But I use rosary prayers, and
Yeah.
Catholics do the same thing with the
Yeah.
candles of the church and all that. It's the same similar thing.
I was going to say, Jim, you seem very calm over it.
Oh,
Not because over the time it sounds a bit stupid, this, but you've got used to it now. You've come to terms with it, and now you're fighting back against it.
Yep. It's in the beginning you get kind of scared, and you get a lot of anxiety, depression, a lot of different emotions, and then I realized, like, once you calm yourself, a lot of those things are coming from external, I guess, vibrational frequencies. I guess people would say, or different energies, or some people say spirits or demons that are causing that, because they feed off those negative vibrations. Kind of like, because when we eat, they say, what is it? I forgot what it is. I think they said the second or third law of thermodynamics about vibration being dense to work coalesce into a physical form. Kind of like the when you have the sand on the drum and you play a certain frequency, and that frequency changes the sand into that specific shape. So that sound is creating that shape is the manifestation of that sound.
Right. My son knows all about that. He's into all that as well.
Yep, and it has a lot to do with that kind of stuff, with anxiety coming because they project these things on you.
Yeah.
To have you have these emotions. That's why it's like during like in a bunch of cultures they do animal sacrifices, because they usually torture the animal before, because they want that adrenaline going.
Yeah.
They want the most intense emotions that they could feel, because these things feed on it. That's why they do that. And if you read the Gnostic texts, it speaks about like the way these entities will appear. Like my instance, it appeared because I pissed it off. That's one of the ways you can do it. and since I wasn't doing a formal like exorcism, I caught it off guard, because usually when you're doing exorcism, the person knows it, so the entity knows it, and it's getting ready for battle.
Yeah.
And so I sideswiped it, but it can be dangerous because they could unleash it wherever she was. She could have acted all crazy. But I don't. But for some reason, I don't think it will or does that, because the person it targets the exorcist, because that's the main. So when it saw me, and it just popped out pretty much immediately, because it was so pissed. And the other way is like the Aztecs used to do. It used to be bloodletting from their genitals, and they would do like bloodletting, and then their deity would manifest in physical form.
So I've got to ask you how. I mean, some of the photographs you've sent us. Sorry, Jim. Some of the photographs you've sent us, which I'm looking at, that's why I'm looking that way, is they're unusual photographs. How did you manage to take photographs of these? Did you say entities? How did you manage to take photographs?
Talking about in the egg?
A situation like that.
What are you talking about in the egg?
Any of them? Because when you look at one of them looks like the only way I can explain it, the one what I'm looking at now, is the one that looks like an angel with wings.
Oh, yep, holding something. So these are okay. So this is, like I said, this is part of the egg cleanse. So like the one you saw with that looks like a baby, that looks like a sonogram. That is actually someone who had either an abortion or a miscarriage, and that baby showed up out of the cleanse. It's the egg inside of the water.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Okay.
and there's another one you see. There's two babies. She had twins, and had an unfortunate thing happen as well.
Got yeah.
And so then you see the other one looks like a skull.
Just trying to find it.
And when you see skulls or a hooded skull figure, that's Santa Muerte. Usually, a lot of people use Santa Muerte in hoodoo, Santeria, and cartel magic uses it as well.
Ah, right.
Even
Okay.
it's
Got
the
it.
female. It's the female Grim Reaper, basically.
Ah, right.
There's
that's
the twins, yeah.
And a lot of black magic these days is used through her.
Ah,
Right.
right.
So
Okay.
how
Yep.
did you?
As far as like death magic and cursing and hexes to destroy someone, then you got like Lilith is for more of women that want to use their sexual skills, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, to
Yeah.
do the damage that way
Right.
or
Yeah.
take control.
Yeah.
So,
That'd be the Jezebel spirit or Lilith.
sorry, Jim, are these photographs you've taken, or
Well, some of these are from. I run a egg reading group, the second biggest one. It's called a Shamanic Egg Cleanse on Facebook. There's another one called Art Divination of the Egg Cleanse. So those are the two. The other one's got like 6,000 people in it.
That's
But
good.
good photos?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
so
Really
you'll
good.
see a bunch of them, and I do a lot of the readings for free on there just to, help people out, tell them what they need to do. Some of me do spiritual baths. Some just need to do some fasting and cleansings and stuff
So
like that.
when going back to your ex-girlfriend, sorry to bring her up again, but did you not? Did you know nothing about this until you met her, and then because strange things were happening, you started
Yep.
getting into it and started to obviously
It,
to try and heal yourself?
yep. Well, the only weird thing that ever really happened was maybe about 2 years before that, a snake popped out of the toilet, and then I killed it with a bucket. That was the only weird. But that's when that happened. My ex and I at the time, which I was going to college with, was like the first love. Our friend was, I guess, dabbling into witchcraft, and I'm not sure if he did anything. But after that snake popped in and I killed it, everything kind of. Now that I'm thinking about it now, from the different perspective, I'm thinking that's probably where it was, because he ended up basically convincing her to break up with me and got her addicted to meth. So
Ah, right. Okay.
yeah.
So, do you feel? You ever get worried that is it a kind of a possession? Did you think it was some kind of possession, or did you just think it was a marking because she said, "I'll leave me marks"?
I leave my mark on my property. I thought it was what I thought it was, because later on I realized the reason the demon didn't leave, because the exorcism should have been successful. I feel like I think she had a pact with it,
Yeah.
and I think she used me as a sacrifice for whatever she did in New Orleans.
Right. Okay.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And
So
she.
because she planned the whole thing, so she had the date, the time. Because witches are very calculating about that kind of stuff.
So
They
she's
picked the
up.
date, the time, the location, and she waited on the third night before we did anything.
So,
Right.
do you think she planned the relationship from meeting you to? It was like in a way using you for
I
her.
think I
Black.
think the spirits that are in these individuals target specific people for specific reasons. Yes.
So they're controlling what they're doing.
Yes.
I'd say that you were the sacrifice.
That's why her husband got killed, and then several weeks later, I got into an 18-wheeler accident, like I sent you those photos.
Yeah.
Like
So it's
yeah.
just like a black widow. So the people she's been with that are marked, the entity comes and claims it.
Yeah.
Because it'd be interesting if this going to sound a bit strange, and I do apologise. Are other exes have any of them had issues? It'd be interesting if you knew if any of them had the similar kind of things. I
I don't know
know
any.
you're not going to know, but But
I only know of one.
I don't suppose you'd want to get
person.
into that.
Well, see, I only know of one. Well, see, most people didn't really believe it. They'll probably just think it's.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just that's why I thought for the longest time it was just a medical thing. And then after like all the crazy encounters, the disappearing and the manifestation and all that, it was just like, okay, this is something else.
It's strange.
well, the strange part is when you were saying when you first met her, and she ran round that corner and she was in the house, I mean,
That would be mind-boggling, that wouldn't it?
yeah.
It really
I
would.
was freaked out. Like I was just like, what the hell is going on? And then when you read up, if you ever read the Testament of Solomon or researched on the specific demons, the Mahasona is also what I think is called Baal or Beelzebub or Beelzebub. He's got several Beelzebub.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the devil.
And they call him he's considered the king of demons. He's the main one that shows up in the Testament of Solomon.
Mhm.
And his powers are basically to transport individuals from one location to the other, which is what happened with her, and also to possess people, which is his specialty.
Ah,
It's
nice.
incredible. It's
Because
scary.
if you ever see someone's calling, so if you ever see the like exorcism videos online with a bunch of like the actual priests that do it,
Yeah.
it's the same thing, and
Right.
yeah.
So how long? I mean, obviously, when you first found out what was happening, you were scared and everything else. Did you feel? Were you scared to go to sleep? Were you scared to do anything?
No, see, I actually wasn't really scared. It was really, it's hard to explain because after you, like when you do like the exorcism rites, you call upon like all the angels and all the saints, and it's weird because you have like this protection. You feel almost invincible and vulnerable. So when she choked me, like when she came at me and choked me, I didn't even feel it. But I could tell like she was,
Yeah.
and I'm just sitting there, just
Yeah.
like it was like completely unaffected.
I think that's probably the natural thing to do. And if somebody attacks you, just get out of here now.
Yeah.
It was probably afterwards when you've seen the mark. Who spotted the mark? Was it you who spotted the mark when you?
Well, yeah, like I said, it was 3 days after the New Orleans trip. The New Orleans trip, yeah, the New Orleans trip happened around February. The breakup happened around June, July.
Right.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
So I dealt with it for a little bit
Yeah.
because I didn't think it was I didn't think it was, I thought it was just a medical thing. Like I said, I thought I got something off, and it was only a couple of months since then. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
Pretty scary, that isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Weird.
Jim, you've just frozen on the screen there, but we can carry on talking.
Yeah.
am I good now? I mean, it's showing me that I'm doing good.
We can hear you now.
We can hear you, but you've frozen. The actual picture's frozen.
Yeah. Yeah. We can still hear you though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it's showing that I'm still streaming. I wonder why it's doing that. Hopefully it'll
Yeah. That'll
pick
sort
back
it.
up.
But how did you? Once you found out what the markings were in that, where do you begin to start fighting back against this? Because it's more it's an evil thing to do. It's not a nice thing to do to anybody. So how did you start fighting back against it?
Yeah, like I said, I started reading the Bibles, trying to figure out because that's where demons usually appear, and I was looking in there exactly what to do. I started with the Old Testament, and you see the New Testament, and you see like in a lot of what is it the one story where Jesus comes across the madman on the mountain that he's like cutting himself with rocks, and he had like cuts and slash marks all over, which is very interesting because a lot of people who are depressed and stuff they self-mutilate and cut themselves with razor blades and all that kind of stuff, and they have like all those marks up, which is a sign of possession, according to especially when the madman's cutting himself, and then Jesus came up to him and then they looked at him and said, "Have you come to send us back before our time or something like that? We are legion." And then he like casts them out to the pigs, and the pigs go off into the ravine, into the water, and drown.
Yeah.
So which is similar to the egg cleanse, because the egg is you what you're doing is you do the cleanse, you cast the evil into the egg, and then you put it in the water.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Do you feel as if you're still fighting this entity?
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not. It's weird because have you seen that movie called Fallen with Denzel Washington?
What was it called? Sorry.
It's called Fallen.
Oh.
No, I don't.
Fallen, Fallen, with Denzel Washington. He's a detective at the police agency, and there's a serial killer with all that leaves a specific calling card. There's a specific
Yeah.
way he kills
I
people,
have
and
seen it.
his name was Azazel. And then every time he would touch someone, he would transfer between different people. and he would
Yeah.
like whistle. He would whistle this song, and he would know the song, and different people would look at him and whistle, and then after he would leave them, they would not even realize what they just did.
I recall the film, but I'm going to have to watch it again now
Oh,
because
it's very good. It's
he's a
very
great
good.
actor anyway, isn't he?
Sorry, just didn't lose.
Mhm.
So, and I've encountered things similar where something is distressing you, and you're having, you're thinking about something, and then you hear someone in a different conversation that'll say something that relates to it, but they're not. It's not about what you're thinking about, but it's
Yeah.
directly related to it. And then it's just like little things like that, and it'll be, you get bits of information from different sources, different people, but it's kind of like hearing the song through different people, finishing the whole song.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got you.
It's
I guess similar to way those those ghost box where they change to the channels of the different frequencies.
Yeah,
You'll get
different
like
frequencies. Yeah,
sentences out of it.
that's a good explanation. That one is. It's like it's hard to comprehend what you're going through as well. Because it's never happened to us,
Mm.
and we do paranormal investigations all the time. I can't even imagine what it's like for you to have gone through all this and to fight against something you can't really explain, really.
Yeah.
Well, see, and it's even weirder because like I actually I want to save all this for the next time because there's some stuff that happened with, like, there was the girl that was talking about the twin flame, and then it was involved this other guy who, it's really kind of funny because he was a cocaine dealing rapper who was also a wizard. I know that's a mouthful and it sounds crazy, but that's literally what it was.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely for another. We'll have to do that one for you, then, Jim.
Yeah.
That'd be a cracking one.
Yeah,
That.
because one now.
Yeah.
That one's just recently kind of happened too, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
So, do you feel that this person can still control what's going on, or is
For a
it?
while, you can feel their presence. You can like see flashes of images, dreams, and stuff like that. In the beginning,
Yeah.
you really felt it, and it felt like a heavy dread. As time went on with the cleansing and stuff, you feel lighter, less
Yeah.
less influence, or less of a grasp, I guess you would say.
Right. And do you think
But
that's
yeah,
because you're fighting back and using the powers that you can use to
that fasting,
detach?
doing things right, stuff like that, all that kind of stuff that contributes to, I guess they would say, some people say karma, some people would say, faith in, was it faith without works? And that would be considered your works, technically.
Mm.
Faith without works is empty and stuff like that.
So it must be difficult, when you go into your next relationship. It's going to be difficult for you to try and, or it's going to take you longer to try and trust that person than it would normally, or do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's just with regular females in general. The last one I was with wasn't into any of that, and we were together for 8.5 years, engaged. Cheated on me with one of her co-workers, took the house and the dog.
I think I'd rather be possessed.
And that was after the 18. That was after, like I said, after that 18-wheeler accident, things just started kind of like going pretty bad for a little bit.
Did you ever feel, when you've got this mark on your back and that? Did you ever feel that there was a presence in the building, wherever you went, in the house, in the car, wherever you went? Did you ever feel as if you were being watched, or there was something with you at that time as well?
Sometimes it's really weird. Sometimes, but not all the time.
And do you still get things like that now, or is it starting to fade a little bit now?
Like I said, it's been ever since like 2015. It's been like a slow decline, like a steady decline. I had a pop up, like I said, with this girl who is possessed by Lilith, and then this wizard, and then like it's very interesting because it got got into a whole thing where it was from different fronts. Like this person that was in a Santeria was kind of like after me too because of females. You know,
What a
the
life.
the start of all wars and stuff. You know.
Oh, yeah. So, do you ever think, why me? Why is this happening to me? How come nobody else is getting it? It's just me? Or did you feel alone? Or did you feel as if, is there anybody out there who can help me? Or did you know there was help out there? Or did you have to research it? I know it's a lot of questions in one. I'm just wondering what you thought in that way.
Well, let's take it one by one. So the first one was, did I feel alone? For a little while, I did. Yes, a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird because I am alone now. Like literally have a very small group of friends because of a lot of stuff that recently happened.
Mm-hmm.
There was a huge blowout. But anyway, I feel okay. It's like it's being alone and feeling alone are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're confident and you feel you're okay, because I can wake up and look in the mirror and say I'm not a bad person. I'm doing the best I can. There's people who can't even do that. They have to literally, they just focus on their beauty. They focus on whatever they can that's good, and they ignore anything bad, and they don't change. They just continue this perpetual cycle of
Mm-hmm.
their toxicity that they're in, I guess.
Yeah.
And
So we've only got a couple of minutes left now, Jim, before the end of the show. And we're definitely going to have you back on because it's been such an interesting subject. How you've got through it, I do not know. I think I'd have gone crazy. Not that you would have made notice much difference.
I thought I was going crazy. Like no doubt. Even now, see, after you see something like just appear, you first thing you do is first you deal with it, then afterwards, am I going crazy? Because then when you mention it to these other people, they look at you like this guy's nuts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's over here talking about marks on his back, demons appearing. He's crazy. you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean there.
Yeah.
But before we go, you're saying you got a Facebook page, and obviously it's called Holy Mountain Healer. Is that what the page is called on Facebook itself?
Yep, and I have an Instagram at Holy Mountain Healer. I do tarot card readings. I do egg readings. I do spiritual consultations. I do all those kinds of different services, stuff like that. Like if you're having possible heaviness feeling and stuff like that, try the egg cleanse. It could help.
Wow.
Make sure you study it up online, and it's the prayers is what really does it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The egg is just the vessel to put, like I said, the negative energy into.
Yeah.
Right.
So if anybody wants to go onto Jim's channel there on Holy Mountain Healer on Facebook, go along and go and speak to him. I'm sure he'd love to see it on there. Get following him. And have you got any YouTube channels or just that page?
I have a YouTube channel. I haven't really put any content on it yet, but I plan on to eventually. Here, I'm just trying to get this book released out, and then I'll go from there.
Well, you've got to come on about the book anyway, Jim, and you've got to come on about
the other stories,
all the other stuff as well. But we've come to the end of the show, Jim, and it's been absolutely fantastic.
It's been fascinating.
Really enjoyed you coming on as well, and can't believe you're in New York and we're in Liverpool.
I know.
But we've got to stop the show there. We've got to say good night to everybody in L35 areas or in the radio land there. And we'll be back again next week at the same time. So from Access Paranormal and from Jim over in New York, we'll see you again next week. Good night.
Good night.